I want to talk about something Scripture actually spends a lot of time on, but we often reduce it to personality traits or attachment labels: anxious and avoidant hearts. Not as identities, not as diagnoses, but as relational postures formed in response to fear. In the last conversation, I talked about safety, about how God establishes presence before expectation. What I want to talk about now is what tends to surface once safety is introduced: how we learn to relate to love when fear was present. What I'm sharing isn't something I learned quickly. It's something God's teaching slowly through time, trust, and consistency. Some of what I'm naming here, I didn't understand when it was happening. I only recognized it later, once God gave me language for posture instead of blame. In Scripture, fear is never treated as a moral failure. It's treated as a signal. Fear reveals where trust was interrupted, and fear doesn't always show up the same way. Sometimes fear moves towards closeness, and sometimes fear moves away from it. One posture says, "Don't leave me." The other posture says, "I'll be okay if I stay in control." But both are asking the same question: is it safe to be known and still remain whole? This is why God never heals fear with one strategy, because fear didn't form through one experience. Anxious hearts don't lack faith, they lack assurance. They often learn explicitly or implicitly that connection could be lost through distance, through silence, through inconsistency. So the anxious heart stays alert. It monitors, it reaches. It works to keep connection intact. When God meets an anxious heart, He does not shame that vigilance, but He does repattern it. Through Scripture, God reassures before He requires. He repeats Himself not because His people are slow, but because they are learning to trust. Jesus tells His disciples, "Do not be afraid," not after certainty, but in the middle of uncertainty. God reveals Himself as faithful over time, not dramatically once. For anxious hearts, God heals by being predictably present, emotionally consistent, and near without requiring effort. In other words, God teaches the anxious heart, you are not responsible for maintaining our connection. And only when that truth settles does rest become possible. Avoidant hearts often are misunderstood. They are not unfeeling, they are overprotected. They learn that closeness came with a cost: loss of autonomy, loss of safety, or loss of self. So distance felt safer than dependence. This is why God does not heal avoidant hearts through pressure. Pressure enforces the belief. Closeness is dangerous. When Adam hides, God calls, but does not force. When Jonah runs, God pursues purpose, not proximity. When Peter withdraws, Jesus restores through invitation, not interrogation. In every case, God remains available, not invasive. For avoidant hearts, God heals by honoring agency, staying present without demand, and allowing the illusion of control to gently collapse. God waits until the avoidant heart realizes, I want connection more than protection. And this is where Scripture met my own formation. There were seasons where my obedience was sincere, but not yet integrated, where my words moved faster than my surrender, not rebellion, not hypocrisy, not misalignment. And God didn't expose me, He reordered me. He slowed my voice, He limited proximity, and He invited quiet, not to erase calling, but to anchor it. Scripture calls this learning quietly, not disappearing, but being reformed under God's authority. Because God will always prioritize who we are becoming over how quickly we are heard. Here's the redemptive pattern Scripture shows us. God heals anxious hearts by teaching them they don't have to chase love. God heals avoidant hearts by teaching them they don't have to hide from it. Both are healed when they encounter a God who is safe, steady, and faithful over time. Understanding these postures isn't about labeling ourselves or others. It's about recognizing what needs safety so that when boundaries come, they're not walls, they're wisdom. Because boundaries formed without safety feel like punishment, but boundaries formed after healing feels like love. Healing doesn't begin with insight. It begins with trusting that God is safe enough to stay.